certainly going to be editing the fool out of this video. I've made it through Houston. I'm halfway between Houston and Austin. Not really confident driving in Austin. I don't think I've ever driven in Austin. I've just been in shotgun, and I'm really not going to be comfortable driving at night tonight, but I've got to do it if I'm going to spend some quality time with my uncle, who is probably not going to be aware that I'm there, but I know I'm there. And it's not much to be there, a few days. 2 days. And since he's been sick, this is just my second visit, but it's hard to get out there when I still have a child in school. It's at a time where, I mean, life is super busy right now for him, being a senior. So I feel kind of like it's too little to do for a relative that I love. We're not super close, but I've seen him twice a year, every year of my life. And then there were times I visited Austin and been able to go to his house, or went out to eat with him, whatever. I care about him. I love him. He and my mother were my grandparents' only kids, and my mother passed away when she was younger than I am now. So, I can tell myself this isn't much to just go twice during this month of illness, that he's had. But I did a lot for his parents when they were sick, and as they were passing away, I was there for them. And if I were him, I know if I were in his position, that would mean a whole lot to me. And so I think that it did for him, and he knows that I care about him. And I hope that whatever time I spend with him the next 2 days, that it does something good inside of him. It's good for him. Even if he's not really aware that I'm there, maybe, a lot of people, when they're sedated or in a deep sleep, they really are aware of people visiting them and things that are said, and they will tell their family later. Anyway, I hope that he hears and sees the people that are coming and showing him love lately. This is pretty downer. Merry Vlogmas. This is reality, though. I'm not at a place in my life where it's all excitement, new beginnings. That was a different time in my life, and I'm coming at a point where that'll probably be happening again. I'm fixing to have an empty nest, and already my husband and I are finding ways to do things that you really can't do so easily when you have younger children with you, or uncooperative teenagers. We go see concerts of groups we like and do things we enjoy, comic cons, and see authors speak, things like that. We go spend a weekend away, or do like day trips. I took a day trip to go mountain biking, or we both have, and I've taken a day trip to just go trail running, because to get to good trails, I really need to travel. Most of the podcasters and bloggers I watch are about 10 years younger than I am. Most of them. Or maybe they're just the ones that are around my age. Maybe they're just not talking about what's going on with them. Actually, probably they're around my age. Their parents are still probably trucking, doing good. I just didn't, my mother, that generation's gone in my family, so I took her role the last few years. So like the people I watch, their parents would be, have experienced a lot of what I did in the last few years. It was a little, I don't know, anachronistic. It just didn't fit that. So anyway, don't know if this is a major downer. I'm certainly going to be editing the fool out of this video. Really all I'm thinking right now are pretty serious things that aren't happy. I want to know that my uncle is confident about where will he go when he dies, what will happen. And the last time I visited him, I'm probably going to cut all of this. I wanted to talk to him about it, but I felt like I would probably have a lot of people around me who would be very uncomfortable with that, or think it's unnecessary. But I don't think it's unnecessary. And I think a lot of people, they don't really think about things like, what happens when you die until they're near it. And if they're younger than they would have thought they would be facing that, which in his case, it's not normal, for a man in his 60s, I think, to be facing that. But anyway, I wanted to be there and talk to him about it if he was interested, and he was. He brought it up to me. I was thinking, how do I broach this subject? If it ticks him off, I'm going to stop. I'm not there to shove anything I believe on him. And the truth is, though I'm a Christian and I believe in Christ, I don't think we all have to worship him in some cookie cutter way. I do go to the church I grew up in, but I have my eye on reality. You don't have to act a certain way, dress a certain way, go to church. You don't have to believe every point of a certain denomination. There's just a few things you gotta think and believe according to the Bible to be a child of God, There's not a lot of the rules we put to it are just, that's just stuff people do. So he brought it up. He was talking about his parents and what good people they were. And they have to be in heaven. There has to be a heaven. And he said, I want to be like them as much as I can while still being myself. And I thought, wow, what a tribute to them, and what an honest thing to say. And I said, you can be. You can be yourself. They were pretty rigid with their ideas of worship. When he was growing up in the 50s and 60s, long hair, certain music. They were just, they were pretty typical for Southern parents of that generation. And it probably colored a lot of what he saw about God. You start to associate God with the trappings of the church, and he brought it up. And I just told him, you can find God for yourself. And the way you worship God, the way you see him isn't going to be the same as me or your parents. I said, your sister, my mom, didn't see him the way her parents did. She worshiped him differently. And I am different than my mother. I'm not like her. And my children will be also different. They will find him for themselves. And personally, all I did, I didn't want to grow up just believing something because someone told me to. And when I became a new mom, I thought, I don't want to tell my kid lies. And I believe this stuff all my life, but I need to really know that this is true. And I already knew that a lot of what we take as truth about God is just stuff we kind of make up. It's not in the Bible, and the Bible itself, what if that's just something people did that distorted? So I just said, God, whoever and whatever you're like, I want to know the real you. even if it hurts, even if it makes me feel foolish, even if I don't get any answer. I want the real you. So, you know, I'm going to start with this book that I was raised reading, but I'm going to read it differently than I ever did before. I'm going to read it with fresh eyes. I'm not going to read it accepting, and this is true because I was told it's true and the pastor says. I'm going to read it like someone reading it for the first time. I'm going to read it with the discernment and a critical eye. And if I don't find you after I'm done reading this book, I'm moving on to something else. I never did have to move on because I found it. I know what I learned in that book is real, and everything I've applied from it, every single thing, even the things I hated applying from it, are true. They've all proven true. So, really simple in a way, and it makes me look simple-minded to a lot of people, and I really don't care. Anyway, I told him a much briefer version of that. And then I really didn't get to see him anymore. He didn't want to see us the next day because he was so sick. Vlogmas day 12, I guess, or 13. That was a really good visit. I mean, he wasn't really very aware of me. He knew who I was. I think he recognized me. He was sleepy most of the time, and they said he needed to sleep, but he's improved from 2 days ago, and that makes me hopeful. So that was a good visit. I'm glad I got to see him, and I'll get to see him again tomorrow.